All right. So we just watched the season finale of season 1 for Zombie Shit Show. What's it called?
iZombie.
So iZombie.
iZombie : the Zombie Shit Show.
And that was
major.
That was meaty.
Meaty, one could say. Yes.
Had meat.
It was another.
It definitely was a season finale.
Things happen.
It wrapped up a lot of things, and like I said, some things didn't. A little of this, a little of that. We don't know who exactly did certain things. But
it was actually the thing that I said, where we've never seen Peyton again now.
Yeah,
and
she's dead.
In the next season, maybe she'll never come back.
All right, so let's start from the top here.
Major in the freezer.
Yeah, so they got Major in a freezer.
You immediately said, freezer's not work that way. What the fuck?
You can't just lock someone in a freezer. Freezers have safeguards. You can always get out of a freezer. That freezer had a wooden floor. Nothing in food prep is wood like that.
I almost made a follow-up comment when they showed him on the floor and asked, like, would it have a plywood floor like that?
Certainly not.
Okay. This man is an expert here. They appear to have modified this freezer, though, to make it, like, clamp shut from the outside.
Yeah.
Possibly for this purpose.
The only thing that would let me say that's that could have happened is if there was like, this is an old ass building and like that's before there were like codes on things.
Okay.
But
because they do get real health inspections, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's in the freezer. Because they want to know where the brains are. They can't find them.
Yep.
They don't know that he gave them to live.
Torturing him into giving up the information, which he won't give up because he loves Liv and doesn't want her dead.
Or he just wants the zombie conspiracy to not some.
Sure, that's 100% true.
The girl from last episode is dead. Teresa.
We see her on the slab. She has died from not a zombie, from being beaten to death.
Yeah, rare non-zombie murder.
Yeah, those are nice every now and again. And it also was not a flying drone. So
true. It was not an elaborate M.C. Escher painting. What's the name of that thing where the thing hits another thing?
Dripping time?
And it falls into a thing.
Something?
It wasn't one of those either.
No.
It was straightforward and just a man in a plot, in over his head. Didn't want the citizens of Pretty Lake to know that the secret serum.
I thought that was interesting and semi-well done. For someone who was kind of smart, he was also dumb.
Sure.
So he faked like he was kidnapped. Said he was in the trunk. They see him on the as a driver, so they know he wasn't kidnapped. They find his
the last
car.
of the 4 people from last episode, so it's all a big continuation. Who you thought might have been a victim turned out to actually be the guy. I really liked him mouthing "help me" to the security camera.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I liked him
ditching the phone.
Yeah, buying the 2 hot dogs,
and
even those
drinks,
little things where I was like, oh, that's a thing. And like that shot of him saying "help me," mouthing that, I thought was well done. There's a few little moments here that I was
paying
like,
a homeless man to watch his car, good.
Yes.
But dumb was drinking the free milkshake they provided.
Turned out to be fine though.
Yes, but if you think they're like, you have someone watch your car because you think they might try to blow up your car or tamper with your car or do something to track you, don't then drink the free gift.
Don't have to drink the milkshake. No, that was super crazy and dumb. I would have been suspicious even had the waitress brought it the second they started talking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you set this shit up or whatever the fuck.
I also would have swapped out the bag. There's a bag of money.
Yeah, bag of money's involved here, of course.
Which turns out to have a tracking device in it, which didn't appear to matter because they tracked him at the bus anyway. The police got him. But I would have ditched the bag for fear that something was in the lining or something. I wouldn't think it would be as blunt as just be taped to the money.
A literal motherfucking thing that you could have easily found had you searched this money.
My first thing would have been to ditch the bag. $300,000 could easily fit in my pockets. Like, I would have been like, all right, I'm out.
Well, with the kind of pants you wear. But, like, heading directly to the border where you know they do searches with enough money to be probable cause for any sort of detention, that seems like a horrible move. This comes up a lot in a lot of things when someone gives someone, like, $20,000, $100,000, $500,000, and you're like, you can't do anything with this money right now. I loved in Luke Cage, we called it out where the guy's like, I'll get some people working on this right now. It's like, I'll go to the bank right now. Because you can't just walk in with all this fucking cash all of a sudden. That's like a huge thing.
No, but I do think he could have, maybe going to Canada was a dumb move, but but when you go to Canada, they just ask you, like most of the time,
I was going to say,
they just ask you for your passport, and you can kind of walk through if you're not, a crazy wanted person.
It's a low-key border,
I've never done it on a bus, but I feel like the guy just walks up, checks all your passports, and you go.
That's cool. Yeah. I've never been to Canada, but I assume on a border there's at least the potential for being searched.
No, yes, and that's something you should just know.
Yeah.
But like, what did he get? $300,000?
Yeah.
that's that's not a crazy amount of money that like you couldn't just do things with. I would have dropped off a couple grand into my normal bank account.
Yeah.
Assuming I wasn't wanted for murder, which he is, because he could have just took 150 grand and not killed her, and then he would have been free.
Right.
So you could have just been like, all right, always weigh your risk versus reward thing here. What is it, an extra 150 grand, but killing one of your friends who you could leave with, like.
And I thought I got the implication that they were maybe or had been an item of some sort.
You would think it's certainly possible, being that the other one paired off and they're free.
Yeah, so I was like, and they were bickering and stuff.
Bandmates,
yeah, I thought there might be a little something there. And go to Mexico is much more fun than Canada.
MS-13, son.
Well, hiding in tunnels.
They'll take your 300 grand, buy guns,
and leave you wanting more. That's the main case. There's very
the case is wrapped up now. We know what happened with the case.
With everything.
Let's go over the crazy that happens.
So Ravi cures zombieism. He
has the cure, and he has enough for maybe 2 doses.
And lives a snarky bitch now. So she's like, "Give me the fucking cure. I'll sign a waiver. I don't care. I'm disgusting. I'm an animal or whatever."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Liv, we have to cure the world. This is ridiculous.
Yep.
Pump the brakes, bitch."
But fuck that up.
Well, it gets fucked up later. Max Rager, the guy from Wings, knows everything.
Yeah.
It was sort of cliche and dumb, but I liked the way that the scene of him talking about Sebastian and all the bullshit happening fed directly into the... I feel like on this show it's been very rare, maybe only once or twice before, we see the people that they're going to question before they go to question them, directly.
Yeah.
We will cut to Blaine a lot, but otherwise the show really just follows... Liv and the people.
Yeah.
But here we got to see them getting their story straight and being like, "Hoo-hoo, we're going to make so much fucking Skrilla.
I'd like to see one of those blah blahs." Well, one of them's coming right now.
Yes, and it was all planned.
Yeah.
The cops are here. Yeah, hold on. That's why I called you in early. And does this whole thing, and I was like,
yeah, no, it was nice. It was definitely that I'm the boss mentality, and he ran it.
It was a good moment. It's one of a few fucking things here or whatever.
Yeah.
My notes are always linear, and this cut around a lot. So now we're back. Blaine's in the freezer with some sort of soup-based torture that he wants to put Major through.
Yeah, so he offers him soup. Again, I would never take anything anyone offered me when I'm held captive. So they offer him soup. It's warm. He's fucking starving. He's in there. He takes the soup. I would have held the soup. I certainly would have held the soup.
I had that thought immediately.
And then he goes to eat it, and that's not mushrooms. That's a fucking brain!
He says, "What the fuck, brains?" And I had this thought back when Clive had a slice of brains. It's actually very dangerous to eat brains. If you happen to be in the position to eat a human brain, don't do it. I don't know if you have any conflicting knowledge about this, but there are certain diseases that are transferable and live in the brain, and if you eat the brain, you can get that disease.
Does that count even if it's cooked?
I believe it does.
Really?
I believe there's weird parasites and weird... mad cow disease was because cows were being fed, remains of cows, including brains that, got ground up or whatever. I don't know if they cook that.
Well, they deserve... I doubt they actually cook cows' food, though, would be my argument. I feel like anything, especially in soup, it's in boiling, whatever, it probably kills something.
Maybe?
We can look this up later.
I just want to do a PSA for the people. Don't think, his brains is fine, though. I feel like you should avoid, if you have the option to eat brain or not eat brain, human brain, try to avoid it.
Well, and if you're going to eat it, you want it cooked and fresh.
Yes.
You don't want soupy, Mexican milkshake brain.
Right. They take yesterday's cold cut brain and they just throw that in a pot and call it soup the next day. This is a shitty operation. You don't want that shit.
No. So he's in the brain. He spits it out. Doesn't give him up any more information.
Yeah, we get a little Blaine chewing the scenery. Some I can keep you in here for as long as I need to. I have Nazi research about freezing people.
It's a waiting game, and I live forever.
Yeah, it's a horrible pun. In the words of Mick Jagger, right? Time is on my side, or whatever. I was like, ugh, who's writing this dialogue?
Yeah.
Guy from Wings mentions, we have a new product, Supermax. Our users will not need to sleep. It will be a steroid, an opioid, an amphetamine. And then the guy's like, with a small chance of turning the people into zombies. And he goes, that's why you're here. What, to never have to sleep?
There's an episode of X-Files. Remember that one where the people didn't, the small unit in the army didn't need to sleep? And they just took, a pill or whatever, and
I fucking loved that episode because he's telling Mulder or someone about it, and he's got the awesome... Major had it in this too. There's this awesome Hollywood makeup where they make you look like you've been awake for days with red around your eyes or whatever. I love that look. But he was like, like step 1, you don't have to sleep. Doubles your lifespan, like the easy way or something like that. And I was like, it fucking does. That's oh yeah, it's amazing. They went crazy though in that X-Files thing. So you're supposed to sleep apparently.
Well, he also became like the king of dreams or something, and he was killing people with
it. The second half of that episode, I'm not as I don't remember.
The concept is what I like.
I would love not to have to sleep. I've always felt that way, but I totally do need to sleep, and it sucks.
Fuck sleep. So Major's working out, being tortured, offered soup, whatever. What happens next?
We got, I've taken the notes we've already talked about. We're already up to paying the bum. We got the Max Rager thumb drive. He didn't make a copy.
So that way, hang on, that's an area of dumb for me. So they're like, all right, kids, we need you to find, like, somehow they know your kids ran over this guy. We need you to find this thumb drive. Why would you hire random teens to do anything?
Yeah, okay, so how did this work?
You don't have more hitmen or, like, people that are good at this?
Well, once they capture Cameron, he kind of lays it out, and he said, we called a number in the phone? Or?
No, a number called a week later after
right?
Kimber died, they called us from that phone and said, hey, kids, we'll leave this. How would you, like, you wouldn't even know it was in his wallet, like.
Yeah, because they should be dredging the lake for it still, right?
Yeah.
They don't know. And yeah, as this episode pretty much fucking lays out and proves, when you involve a lot of extra people in your plot, people you might have to kill or whatever, it just adds a lot of moving parts and clumsiness.
No, it was
to
foolish.
Get caught or something like
Untrained idiots when you could have your, like, military people do it.
There have to be other folks like Sebastian.
Yeah, you'd think.
My God.
And, like, with any digital media, and it ended up happening this way, you have no way of knowing, like, how many there are, this and that, anything.
Yeah, I've always, and this is going to come up more and more as we catapult into the future and shit like that, but there's been stuff in, like, movies now where there's, like, we need, like, the passwords or, like, the dossier or the codec or whatever the fuck. And you're like, I can just make a copy. Like, even if it's, like, you can just, like, normal people can make copies of things.
It's not, we're not in 1920 now. Anyone can open a flash drive. Anyone can email.
Or even 1990, whatever the fuck. Like, you could, like, fucking, like, literally crack open the flash drive, put in the innards from another flash drive, and just give them that, right?
Yeah.
And they would never know.
And they've never seen it. They don't know what it looked like.
Well, I was gonna say, like, even if it's like a special thing, then you could literally just, like, take a little tiny screwdriver, I think, right, and just take it apart, hot glue it back in there, or whatever the fuck.
I could look it up on Amazon, buy 6 of it, like
or something like that. You could put it on, like, I could plug it into, like, a Linux computer and just do, like, an image copy directly of every, like, byte on the drive.
It's
even
just
if there's hidden shit.
It's foolish, and it annoys me. Like, those are the things that going forward. But like we'll skip.
Like, there's no, like, oh, you have the original. It's like, what? No, everything is data now. It's just flying around.
I need the deed with the hologram on it or whatever.
Yes,
like, no, it's a fucking it's an email, motherfucker.
With the emblazoned thing. Ravi has heard no word from Peyton as we threw in there at the top of the thing.
Yeah, she's gone.
I wonder if it's an actor contractual thing, if now it's like, I always go to that because I'm like, why would you not have this person in this episode at all? That's weird. But it's, I
think
guess
just to build tension
bullshit,
later. It's not needed. There's so much happening in this episode, and that's not something that you require.
We didn't miss her, but they chose to call out that she was not there or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So he's like, I haven't heard from her. It sucks, whatever, but I'm really worried about Major. That business.
Yeah.
And Liv, for some reason, takes that, and we said out loud, you dumb bitch, or whatever the fuck, because she takes that as a thing of, like, I'm going to inject myself with the cure, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But then
the only thing helping her survive and actually save people is her having this
I don't understand
power.
That impulse of, like, there's a lot of that thing of, like, well, I have this power, but it's also a curse, and I don't know, whatever. And
in
like,
no way is this a curse.
And, like, you have to weigh, we just said, you have to weigh your, like, your options and all that shit. Because that happens in all these shows where it's like, well, I don't want to be a vampire anymore. And it's like, there's still a bad guy. We have to take care of the bad guy. The only reason you've been able to do anything is because you have these powers or whatever the fuck. Maybe do this in the opposite order and just take care of your shit and then stop being a monster or whatever is bothering you.
I don't even get. She must like the blonde hair because it's not like her hair's gonna be growing super fast. She's dead. She could just dye it and it would be dyed forever.
She could just dye it, yeah. That's like the look though that they're going for or something like that. They said, oh god, no, we're gonna go as a prisoner exchange because Blaine called. She's about to inject them in Blaine or something.
So Blaine's gonna do a swap for the brains for Major. she gets double-crossed and gets random stranger number 6 and never says who that is or even, like,
That's
what?
why I was like they cut away, and I'm like, wait, who was that? And you're like, that was no one. I'm like, no, that has to be someone. It's like, no, it's no one. It's just a random
nobody.
motherfucker.
It wasn't a zombie. It was just a human they kidnapped and put him in his shirt.
I guess, like, fuck. And she was double-crossed, but totally walked into that. There was a horrible... There was literally no, like, show me his face.
She held no cards, though.
I know.
Like, I'll eat these brains.
I'll eat them right now. I'm a very fast eater. So, Major escapes.
Yep. Major pees on the ground to make an oil slick and somehow lights the dead body of a teenager on fire in the freezer.
He pees to make ice, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
He pees to make something for the guy to slip on. Lights because the teenager in the cell had in the freezer had a lighter in his thing.
And he was made of flammable human, so
and he was doused in gasoline at some point apparently because he was
he did
totally
go up like crazy,
insanely. And then the guy with the neck stab who was like, hell, I can't call for help because my windpipe has been severed apparently.
He notices, opens the door, and gets slips on the pee, gets clubbed with like a turkey leg or something.
Yes.
And
which
gets
is
locked
apparently
into the freezer.
what all zombie needs to be out of commission.
Yep.
This catapults us into the, like, I don't know, the crazy zone or something. Because this begins a musical montage.
Yes.
With action.
It gets interesting.
Okay. You want to run through?
All right, so
he
goes to the car, he puts a grenade in his pocket, puts the gun in his belt, holds a shotgun, walks down the street brandishing said shotgun from too far away, starts shooting at the building. They get a good chance to run. He luckily blinded one of them. That guy's shooting wildly. He comes behind him. He shoots that guy. That guy's dead. He
proceeds through to all these people, but this scene felt like it was out of like a different show.
And and they did like the cut to the splash thing because they can't show you shoot like an old lady in the face on the internet.
But kind of good. I don't know what your feelings are about this.
This was done
well. This was good, I thought, and I was like, what the fuck? And there's a lot like, and I think I realized that Major's strong suit is when he's not talking.
Yeah.
Because he was fine in this. This worked for me completely.
No, this was good.
This was like a scene out of a Terminator or like a Falling Down or something. He was proceeding and doing his fucking shit.
He throws the girl into a bandsaw. He fucking shoots Fatty through the window. And then our muscle-bound dude comes out. And then like they're about to tussle and shit. And he gets him into the freezer, shuts the door, through the blown window, throws his grenade, and he's like dodge this.
Walk away from
this. Yeah.
And you know,
and so stupidly just like squats behind the door.
He also doesn't cook the grenade, so Julian could have grabbed
and put it right back out.
Picked it up and thrown it out, and he drops it directly by the door instead of throwing it in towards where he's actually standing and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but still okay. However, things take a dramatic bad turn.
And immediately upon like the explosion going off, looks over and is stabbed right in the side.
Blaine comes,
bam, gets him. Maybe twisted a little. Who knows?
He goes, look what you made me do. Like, what are you doing? Dude, come on.
I did like the line of, like, all right, so you can handle the dying slowly thing. I'm going to go.
Got that agonizing death thing under control? All right, good. Because I got to go. It's like, hope it hurts. All that stuff. No, Blaine, being Blaine. But then
Blaine gets shot.
Liv shows up, fucking shoots Blaine.
In the kidney or something?
Right in the side natal region.
Yeah. And they go into the little talks about like yeah, you know, more if you take me out of the equation, and all these hungry zombies are not going to have food, and they're going to blah blah. You know this something eyes red.
Which we said.
Yeah.
We said this in episode whatever the fuck, which is like
because we don't even, and he said it too. We don't even know how many there are.
And like, well, yeah, and Blaine does because he knows about all of his customers, right? And who the fuck knows what's going on there? But Blaine has a whole criminal network, and has the hookup for the zombies, he's keeping them from the zombie apocalypse starting, in force. When Liv was gonna like randomly snipe him, we said this. We were like, wait a minute, though, what is your end game? Now you go, and we're like, I guess that's the next season. Is now her and Lowell, and then Major have a zombie love trial, and she's just going and killing people, and it's like Heroes or something like that. But no,
no. So she stabs him with the cure that she had brought with her, apparently.
Yeah, so he was shot but didn't really mind because he's a zombie.
He's a zombie.
And all that shit. And he's ranting and raving, right, going off on his thing of like, Major finds out. He says, you didn't even know? You're going to die in this most ironic way possible. Because guess what? These aren't just questionable, fashionable decisions here. And he's explaining, doing the whole thing. And he turns around to be like, you motherfuckers. And she fucking takes that as an opportunity to stab him. injects him with that fucking cure, which we don't even know works.
Well,
but
at the very least, he's human-ish for a little while, and maybe dead eventually. But he's human now, and he runs off, and he's like, if there's a zombie apocalypse, assume I've died. Or
because she's like, you're the guinea pig now. If you live, let us know, and blah 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 blah. And he goes, assume.
Yeah. Then Major looks like he's about to die, so she gives him a shockingly long scratch across his neck to give him the virus.
Yeah. How do you feel about in this universe scratching is what does it, not biting or whatever?
Well, I think biting would do it also, but I think scratching also does it.
Well, because biting would do it because of saliva and bloodstreams and stuff like that, but scratching is what? Pieces of your nail? Like, how is that transferring the zombieism?
It isn't. I feel like the same way you should be wearing gloves now, afraid to accidentally scratch somebody. Would be that people should wear hospital masks because when you talk, you can accidentally spit in their mouth slightly, or Yeah,
because sex apparently caused the zombie thing. So if it's just fluids, then all the same protocols of HIV or hepatitis should apply, right?
Except to the 10th degree.
Because the consequences are so fucking great. Yeah. So I don't know about the scratching, but if she could scratch and then lick her finger and then do it or something.
Well, that makes more sense. I'm not going to do that.
It'd be so easy to do that.
She probably bites her nails though. There's residue.
Probably bites her nails. There's tiny bits of residue in her things there. Cuts them too close.
So they have a whole thing because he doesn't want to be a zombie. Some bullshit.
So if we cut ahead to he's in her bed and all that shit, and he's like, I didn't ask for this. Being the same weird.
It's such a bitch. He'd be dead, and she saved his life. And then she, I'll jump ahead even further. She eventually gives him the cure, the last of the cure.
Of the 2 doses now, she's offensively tagged Blaine, and then because of her own weakness or whatever the fuck, gives up the last of it for him to undo him before he got to have any fun.
Yeah,
which is holy shit.
Well, he got to live.
But that scene of him being like, I didn't ask for this. Who'd you make this decision for? You or me? And all that shit. That reminded me of episode 4 when she's like, I love you. And he's like, Liv, you're acting all weird. Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're such a bitch. What the fuck? This is awful.
He's a bitch. But let's cut backward
After
now.
being an awesome badass and and now he's just like, ew.
Well, he did that as a human. He could still do cool things like that maybe next season.
I know.
Suzuki, hears the noise complaint of the gunshots, and he heads over. He sees the dead people. He goes, it's just fireworks. Don't come.
In the same unrealistic, insane cover-up mentality that we've had the whole time, where hey, I called you guys 5 minutes ago, and it's like, did you tear the fridge off? What are you talking about? I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird, whatever the fuck. Like a dude walked across the street brandishing a shotgun and broke the window in the front of the store in the evening, not even the middle of the night or whatever the fuck. And he's like, I don't know, fuck nothing. And everyone else just goes, shots fired. There's a guy on the way. He's the boss, but whatever, we'll let him go. And then it's he said it's fine. What the fuck? Whatever.
But they only said a noise complaint. They didn't say shots fired. For all we know, they were complaining about the music.
Ugh, I guess.
But Suzuki, realizing, oh God, my hookup is dead. I have no ability to get brains anymore. This is all fucked up. He's like, I'm going to kill myself.
In the most elaborate way possible.
And he shoots himself to get blood instead of using the dead people right near him because he wanted to die with a little bit of pain in his life, and writes Blaine and Blaine's last name on the...
Was that what that was?
Yeah.
It was half covered, I thought?
It was blown up.
Okay. But it was Blaine and then some more words?
It was Blaine's full name, yeah.
Okay.
And then the explosion knocked away the last name, so it just says Blaine.
Which Babineau doesn't know what that means, but someone else might know.
So Babineau there, he sees the shoes, and he goes, "Let me see that guy. Oh, that guy's dead. Go to fucking Major."
Did he have good hair? It's this guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Go pick up Major Honeycutt, or what is his name? Willie Shitty.
Major Lillywhite.
Go to Major Lillywhite's house and give him a gunshot residue test.
Gun residue test. I don't know if that can you just wash off gunshot residue?
I would imagine you can.
Maybe it's you have to wash your hands twice or something. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. I imagine it's like a mustard after in a stain. It'll still show up under the blue light thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say he might still test positive, which would be interesting. I don't know if you can explain that.
How to say he freaked out and shot his kitchen again or something.
Basically, Liv's brother walks up.
Oh, this is great.
As the explosion happens.
To drop off the job application. Sees dead people. Oh no! Oh. My God. Fucked sideways.
And I burst out laughing. Because I'm like, I hope he's dead. Fuck that kid.
But he's not dead.
He's not dead yet.
Liv gets a call. Oh no, something bad happened. Goes to the hospital. Oh, he's a rare blood type. Oh, but Liv, you're that blood type. We need a transfusion. Quick. No.
So that's why we were Googling blood types at the top of the episode during the
had to figure out what this actually was. And what did they say she was? She was O negative, right?
I don't know anymore. We talked about blood type for an hour.
I believe she was O negative.
That sounds familiar, definitely.
Which was the one that only 7% of the population is.
So it at least makes medical sense.
Yeah.
And she, of course, can't donate blood. I don't know if it would even come out of the vein.
I was going to say she doesn't have enough blood to donate.
I know, right?
Like, but even if she did, it would just turn him immediately. So what is she going to say in season 2? I'm morally opposed to donating blood. I want him dead. I have a disease.
Yeah, right. I don't know how she's gonna have to. She was a doctor of some sort, right? So she can make up a disease that she has.
She has AIDS.
Probably,
I think she has to say AIDS because what else is she gonna say?
That's so ripped from the headlines and relevant, though. I guess she has to say that.
Is AIDS in the headlines right now?
I don't know. It's like a social issue. Like, a part of this whole show now is about, like, the energy drinks and the evil corporation and the fucking mentality of the fucking blah. So I don't know.
But I'm dying to know, because just like how we were talking about when shows end after something, they have to pick up, like, they're not going to pick up a month later and he's recuperating. Why didn't you give him blood?
6 months later. Well, he survived anyway. Do you think that they'll let that kid die?
I do not.
So they'll find blood somehow, some other way.
Yeah.
Someone else has that blood type. Maybe a main character. Or
Major
someone.
must have it.
I was just going to say.
Safe
so they're not going to let the kid die. Next season, we got Peyton. I wrote down a few little buttons here. Do you have anything else to say about this episode?
No. What do you got?
We should end that Max Rager is found out and the
CEO
is being carted off.
At least there's the letter was leaked, the internal memo. But he's like, we're gonna be just getting started. We're gonna be better than ever. Fuck you! Like it didn't. It's a big company. Nothing hurts them.
The guy from Wings doesn't give a fuck, and that memo doesn't actually point to murders. It just points to like
a possible rage.
Like you're covering up the fact that, and I think people on energy drinks in real life occasionally commit crimes. So this is well trodden territory. They mentioned that their hearts do beat, but once every 6 seconds.
Yes,
that's what I was thinking about with the drawing blood and just stuff in general, the blood issue, and they don't bleed that much when they get hit and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's meant to be like a thing. I saw her eating a sandwich, very early on, and I jotted down, why eat so much other food that's not brains?
Yeah. I think it's just for some semblance of a normalcy and.
But if it's not food to them, do they just poop it out in some weird zombie poop way? Is it just sitting there and rot?
It just rots.
That's disgusting.
It might not just rot. I don't even know if they poop.
It should all be milkshakes. It should all just be like mostly brain and like enough flavoring to cover it up. If you can't stomach it. Yeah. She's eating bread and like noodles and shit.
It's like 90% not brain. It's maybe even more than that. Not brains.
The brains are like a very small component.
That was something I was thinking of. I'm like, all right. So she sprinkles 3 pieces of brain on a pizza, and that's enough to sustain your zombie needs.
Yeah.
That's all you need then. Just fucking swallow it. Don't even chew it.
Yeah, just go.
It's so tiny.
Little tiny pieces of sashimi. Like, and, we've been trying the whole time to figure out how much brain do you really need? Like, what are the logistics of this? How many people?
One brain can last her forever, I think.
It would last a fucking long time, right? Because brains are like a whole 2-hand operation, right? Seems weird.
7 pounds or something as a brain?
I don't know that. We saw last episode she switches back and forth between the different brains. I'm hoping that happens more.
Yeah.
Or something with I saved some of this other
That's
brain.
what I want. Because if you need so little of it, you should be able to be a sniper whenever you want. Like.
Yeah, that's probably why they can't let her do that, because she'd be like awesome. She'd be like a superhero and all that.
And that would be great.
It would be good for me.
You'd think somebody would at least suggest it, and then she'd shoot it down with some moral reason. But like.
These are people, not just whatever the fuck. I can't just use their awesome skills and abilities. I can't just become a hacker, sniper, ninja whenever I want. Why not?
Pain in the ass.
I was waiting for this episode because there was a cameo last episode that we forgot to mention.
What was that?
The police sketch artist.
Oh, yeah.
Showed back up.
Yeah, and he hates her.
And he was like, I'm not working with her again, because when last they met, she was
an artist.
Artsy and talking about the gentle, anticipatory slump of his nose.
Like a soft peach.
All these things. I liked having a guy back on the show. I liked the idea that her crazy behaviors and weird shit actually impacts other people, and there's like a through line,
Yeah.
And it made me think of all the other people that worked at the police station or were involved somewhere that she's interacted with and done something with that have just never been on the show again.
Well, you've had the ones that were like to Davin going like, "Oh, you son of a bitch, we hate you." today he was in an episode and said, like, you got to call on line 3 or something like that. Like
they're physically there, but I mean, like, they don't play into it, and there's certain stuff that she's done in front of people or like around people where you'd think, like, wouldn't you want to something happen? I don't know.
We'll see what next season brings.
And speaking of next season,
it'll bring good stuff.
The last thing that I jotted down was I'm really glad, and I wanted to save this for like the final episode just in case it happened. I'm really glad that there's no other types of like super or like paranormal things, at least not yet.
Yeah, you think vampires are coming in next season?
So far I'm glad that there's not, because we threw out True Blood a while ago, but like on a lot of shows now, even though it's about ghosts or it's about vampires or about whatever, like day one, the central conceit is like, well, this is real, and so is everything else. And then you have to have a fucking werewolf, and you have to have a fucking this thing, you have to have demons, and then eventually the show gets desperate and they introduce witches for some reason, and it's this whole fucking thing, and you're just like, oh my god, can we just have a show about one thing?
I think they have enough room with this that they don't have to do that.
Yes.
But I'm not saying they won't do that.
I don't want them to. I'm happy that they're not.
It might be a new thing with the new energy drink, though.
Yes.
And now they're plasma vampires.
It might create super vampires. These vampires have melted brains from the nuclear explosion.
Yeah. So that's the season.
Are we going to watch next season?
I think we can partake a little bit.
You want to dip your toe into next season?
Get a taste.
We can say no. We can say.
No, you know what? I'm curious enough to see what happens to the brother that I would like to watch at least the first episode.
This is a cliffhanger, and the show I think is getting better.
It is, and we'll see if that's a trend or if that's an accident.
It's not getting consistently better, but it's getting better.
But it was on a spiral down for like a 4-episode arc, and I'm like, all right.
It was stalled in like a filler episode. I mean, and maybe that's the play, is they write this basic thing, but that's only 5 episodes, and then they put 7 episodes of filler in the middle, and we'll have to endure it again next season. I don't know.
Well, what do you guys think? Leave in the comments below if you think there's going to be some filler bullshit. Do you think the brother dies? What do you think her excuse is? Do you think she has AIDS? Until next time, don't die in a fire.
Not zombie AIDS.
Zades.
Z-AIDS. She has the AIDS.